own it to build it. Is it something new?
Absolutely. Absolutely. That is something that has stood the test of time. Because as they say that when you are an employee, what do you think like? Do you think like an employee or do you think like an owner? I never felt and never thought like an employee, because when you start thinking like an employee, you limit your own contribution and you say, this is my area, this is not my area. First, you have to think like an owner. Only when you think like an owner, that you will ensure that every problem, no matter how small or how big, you take responsibility to set it right. There is never too late to learn. The world around is changing, and it is changing at a pace that we cannot grapple with. You cannot resist the change, and the only way you can embrace the change is if you yourself decide that what got you here won't get you into the future.
Hi everyone, welcome to the Pursuit of Finance Stories Beyond Number podcast. I'm Nidhi, and together with my co-host Tripti, we will take you through world of finance careers. We will learn from the experiences of the leaders who have done it all. We will learn from their stories. Either you are a seasoned professional or you're just starting your career, you will have inspiration to take away. Today we have Mr. Sandeep Batra with us. Sandeep has more than 30 years of experience. He's a chartered accountant, he's a company secretary, and he is currently the CFO of Pidilite Industries. Pidilite Industries is famously known for its brand Fevicol, and all of us have used it in our lifetime. So, Sandeep also has previously experience as a CFO of Crompton and Greaves. Sandeep, beyond work, he also loves to play golf and travel. And Sandeep has spent previous years in Kolkata. Sandeep, we are super excited to have you on board with us, and we are really looking forward to our conversations. Welcome, Sandeep.
Thank you, Nidhi, and thank you, Tripti. I'm super excited at this opportunity to be able to share some nuggets and insights from my journey and from my life. And if that helps folks who will listen into this in taking some career or personal decisions, that will be the best way for me to give back a lot of the learning that I have had in my professional journey.
Yes, thank you so much, संदीप. हम लोग भी बहुत इंटरेस्टेड है तो आपसे लर्न करने के लिए, आपकी इम्प्रेसिव जर्नी से लर्न करने के लिए. Sandeep, first question, and we want to learn about your childhood. How did you grow up? Tell us about you. Did you choose आपने ये career क्यों choose किया, finance, and then how ICI journey started?
So actually, I have on occasions in the past said that I am like an accidental CA. My CA journey started. I grew up in Calcutta. My father had started a very small business there, and therefore there was no question of getting transferred or moving to different cities. I went to the same school for all from KG till the 12th. And one interesting episode happened was that, when you, at least in the curriculum that I studied in class 9, when you go from class 8 to class 9, you have to choose an elective subject. Now, one of the criteria for that elective subject was how much do you get in maths in class 8.
Okay.
I unfortunately scored very, very badly in maths in class 8. And so much so that the only elective I could take was bookkeeping, which was kind of given to people who probably had no other option. So I chose that in 9th and 10th, also because a lot of my friends were taking that subject. And that subject, which was the basic fundamentals or foundation of accounting, somehow really interested me. So I got hooked on to this whole concept of accounting and what all it does. So as the career progressed thereafter, or as my student life progressed thereafter, I then looked at what are the options if you have done bookkeeping. So the logical thing was that when you do your graduation, you have to do BCom. Alongside BCom, what can you do? CA was a logical extension. So it was kind of a series of episodes that kind of encouraged me or prompted me to do CA? Pretty much because at that time not many options were either available or I was aware of. But in hindsight, that is not something that I ever regret. So I'm so glad that I did not do well in my maths in class 8. Kind of got me into bookkeeping and then becoming a CA. So as I always refer to myself as an accidental CA.
Actually, that was good. आप accidental CA बन के आपने इतना successful career बना लिया. So everything in hindsight was proved to be a good reason.
वो कोई ऊपर बैठे लिख रहा है ना मेरा भविष्य लिख रहा था तब. So I'm sure he was a well-wisher. That's how he kind of charted out this personal and professional journey for me.
That is impressive. But आप Calcutta में grew up हुए, right? Calcutta में there are a lot of people who do then business, even after doing CA, CS or their own practice. So what made you to join a corporate career?
Actually, I saw my father, he had his business, as I said. And given the fact that it was a very small business, I saw a lot of his struggle. Particularly the time that when I was growing up, I had very early school. So I would leave for school at 6 a.m. in the morning, come back in the afternoon. My father would leave for work late and come back late. So I not really got much chance to spend time with him because he would come home very late from business. He was obviously trying to struggle to make that business grow. And that was the time I decided that, is tarah ki zindagi I am not a favor of. Maybe I am a bit risk averse. That I opted then for a more professional journey. In fact, that was one of the questions that every company that I interviewed for after I passed my CA would ask me that why are you working and not joining your father's business? He's toiled so hard to create something. Who will take it forward? Because I am the only son. So I said, look, at this stage I have charted my own career. I want to make it on my own. That was also a little bit of a thing that, thodi apni, I won't call it ego, but some pride that you will achieve something on your own merit rather than join something that somebody else has created for you.
Great. आपका मैं ethos पढ़ रही थी corporate website पे. Own it to build it. Is it something?
Absolutely. That is something that has stood the test of time, because as they say that when you are an employee, what do you think like? Do you think like an employee or do you think like an owner? And that has been one life-defining transition that I could say I would have made. I don't remember when that transition happened, but when I look back and say, what is it that kind of gave me a lot of joy in my working career, it was that I never felt and never thought like an employee. Because when you start thinking like an employee, you limit your own contribution and you say, this is my area, this is not my area. So if it is not your area, then you will probably ask somebody else to take responsibility for. But from the beginning, my approach has been that this is my company, wherever I may have worked. And therefore, if something is not working, I have to fix it. Rather than tell somebody else that, no, I found this problem in your area, why don't you have a look? So that has, again, given me a lot of empowerment. Even when you are a junior person, people may say that you are a bit junior in the organization. There are many senior people who are above you. So why don't you delegate or upward delegate the problem? But my motto has been that if it is in my area, I will solve it. And I don't necessarily need authority to do it. I just need the persistence to make sure that the problem gets solved.
Actually, आपने बहुत अच्छा point बोला about the thinking like an entrepreneur or being an entrepreneur itself in a job. That has given you empowerment.
That's correct. Because, a lot of people say, and you will find it in many books, that you have to act like an owner. my philosophy is that first you have to think like an owner. Only when you think like an owner that you will ensure that every problem, no matter how small or how big, you take responsibility to set it right, rather than thinking that somebody else will come and do this work. So first is think like owner, then 100% you will act like an owner.
Yes, that's an excellent answer and a very important point you shared with everyone. Think beyond your silos. कि आपका ये job नहीं, it's like you are an entrepreneur. आपकी लाइफ में आपने एक तो ये डिफाइनिंग मोमेंट गया कि when you change your perspective, right? Is there any other life experience which really impacted your thinking process which you want to share with us?
This was again an incident. Maybe when I describe the incident, it may appear to be it was not a very pleasant incident. But actually, the real life defining thing happened prior to that. So I was having a fairly successful career in finance in ICI, and I was kind of doing well. Every role that I was doing, I was amongst the youngest to do that. And then one fine day, my boss, who I owe a lot of, the Sandeep Batra of today too, he called me up and said, there is a role change for you, and we are giving you a kind of a business role. So this was a joint venture that ICI had with an American company, and it was 3 years the joint venture had been formed, and the first business head, or what we would call in ICI the general manager of that joint venture, he was moving on to another role, and they gave me that opportunity. So finance people generally don't get or some do get, but generally they don't get responsibility outside of finance. But my company trusted me and my boss trusted me, so he said, why don't you take it? So I took it. It was a very technical role. It was running a business, and it was a business that was making hazardous products. It was making commercial explosives, and so I said, okay, it gave me a career, it gave me a promotion. I took the responsibility. But when I went to now lead this team, they were earlier, in some sense, my peers before I took on this responsibility. But when I started acting or when I became their boss, I found the big change in their behavior. In the sense that these were folks who would respect me for my opinion as the finance controller. But now as the head of the business, they would question, may not be directly, but I could sense it, that what is it that he knows about how to make, how to develop, how to sell explosives. He's just the boss's favorite.
Finance.
That's why they have given him. So they said they all knew that the gentleman who gave me the break had really liked me as a person. So they said, आप उनके चाहते हो तो आपको उन्होंने ये जॉब दे दिया. आपको तो नहीं पता है how to handle 400 strong workforce, how to make explosives, or how to develop new products. And in first 6 months, I felt very frustrated. I said, look, I thought I was a very successful finance guy, but as a business head, I have no respect. These guys don't respect me because they think I cannot add any value to their job. And that is when I did some introspection and said, look, I am not a manufacturing guy. I am not a technical person. I am not a salesperson. Then I have to find, as the boss, some areas where I can add value. Because that is a key role of a boss. The role of a boss is not just to give directions or to give instructions. The role of a boss is to help your subordinates do their job better. Now in a finance structure, it is easy because you would have done that job at some stage of your career, so you can easily guide them. But in an environment where it was outside of finance, I had to struggle and find ways in which I could add value, and that meant that I had to make myself vulnerable, because what I was good at, which was finance, was irrelevant in this. They said, वो तो आपको पता है, finance तो आप कर सकते हो, लेकिन अब मेरा काम कैसे आप सॉल्व करोगे? सो तो वो तो फिर then you have to figure out for each area, for each person, whoever, whether it was the manufacturing person or the purchase person or the R&D person or the market development person, how can you help him do his job better? Not by being a better engineer or a better technician, but by being a better manager. And that 3-year stint made me a much better manager than I was prior to that. And obviously, in any role you get encountered with challenges and situations which have never happened in the past. So then how do you at that moment of time decide what has to be the response of the organization? And that is what defines the leader, because the buck stops with you. You cannot at this stage say that I am a finance guy, मुझे तो इतना ही आता है, बाकी आप संभाल लो. ये तो सब मुझे करना पड़ता था. But that journey was outstanding. After the first 6 months of when I felt very vulnerable, I really enjoyed it, because we as a team created many milestones. So one thing as a leader that I learned was that while you will have as a leader many functions who report into you, each of the functions will have their own priorities, their own capabilities. How do you create a shared vision which then every function's objective then becomes subordinate to the shared vision? And that shared vision has to be something that you should be able to communicate clearly, not just to your leadership team, but to the entire organization.
So that they can follow you.
Correct. And not just me, then that becomes a shared vision for the organization. And everybody's deliverables then flow from that shared vision. And that shared vision is not mine. It is not of the production person. It is a joint vision. Everybody owns every line in that vision. And we proudly went and created boards of this vision in the factory, so that every workman can see it. Equally importantly, every time you go past that board, you get reminded that this is the organization's mission or objective, and as a function, my mission or objective is subordinate to that.
Wow, ये आपने बहुत important points बोले. And you are known for your transformation. When I was reading about you, आपने transformations किए हैं, बहुत सारे merger and acquisitions lead किए हैं, system implementation किए हैं. Through these qualities that you mentioned, like becoming an owner and the complete leadership qualities of shared vision, I'm sure this must have helped you in achieving those. Is there आपकी लाइफ में संदीप और कोई सक्सेस के लिए कंट्रीब्यूट की है ऐसी कोई स्किल अदर देन द जो आपने मेंशन की है which really help you in becoming so successful in your career?
See, the other thing is that that I have at least learned is that problems will be very large, or when they happen, or when the crisis happens, that crisis will be something that can threaten the existence of the organization. It is possible that you can have such moments of crisis, but your response can't be that I will tackle the crisis in one shot or with one action. It will never happen like that. So the right thing to do is then your response has to be with small action. So you have to break down the problem. So let's say the problem is X. Now you may have 100 ways of dealing with the X. So break down the solution into smaller bite-sized actions and then execute those actions. That has two advantages. One advantage is that the actions become doable and feasible.
Yes.
Right? Otherwise, if somebody were to say that, let's say the response to the crisis is that I will climb Mount Everest. Now that is something that people will say, "To hone wala nahi hai. How will you climb or anybody climb Mount Everest. But if you break down that task into 30, 40 small actions to be done, then they will appear to be achievable and doable. And that is something that your team then can get motivated to achieve. You tell the team that tomorrow we have to climb Mount Everest, half of them will say, "ये पागल है, छोड़ दो, होने वाला नहीं." But if you give, measurable, smaller action, which ultimately will result in, climbing Mount Everest, then it does, as I said, two things. One, it gives confidence to the team कि हाँ हम ये कर सकते हैं. आप उसको बोलो कि भैया आप रोज 20,000 स्टेप्स चलो. It is stretch, but it is doable. फिर आप बोलोगे आप 20 से 25,000 स्टेप चलो. So like that you can calibrate the action. And secondly, it also allows you to celebrate achievements rather than waiting for the one big bang achievement, which is to climb Mount Everest. भाई आप छोटे छोटे माइलस्टोन बनाओ, वो माइलस्टोन्स को अचीव करो, सेलिब्रेट करो, फिर आगे जाओ. Because there is nothing more motivating than success.
Yeah, और इनफैक्ट जो आपने पॉइंट बोला ना, वन स्टेप एट ए टाइम और स्मॉल मेजरेबल स्टेप्स, दिस इज अ वेरी गुड इनपुट बाय यू. तो अदरवाइज स्ट्रेस हो जाता है व्हेनेवर देयर इज अ कॉम्प्लेक्स टास्क, एंड बाय ब्रेकिंग दिस द स्ट्रेस विल नॉट बी देयर. सो थैंक यू सो मच संदीप आपके शेयर करने के लिए. आपसे नेक्स्ट एक फन क्वेश्चन फॉर यू. अगर आपके पास कोई सुपर पावर होती जो आपकी परफॉर्मेंस को और एनहांस करती, तो आप क्या सुपर पावर चूज करेंगे?
I think the only superpower I would certainly look is that you kind of have the same kind of continuity in your team. Because, one thing I have noticed and one I have experienced is that people work hard to build teams because you get that level of confidence, the level of comfort in working with people who think like you. But unfortunately, however hard you may try, some of them may want to pursue their careers in different paths and in different organizations. And then to again try and rebuild the team, it causes delay and it takes effort. So if I had superpower, I would like to have the same team working with me for a long period of time. Because then you have trust, then you have that faith in that person. A lot of things get done without you having to specify them clearly. So if I have...
I hope your team will be viewing this, and message to team is, please stay with Sandeep. Sandeep, this journey will be more fun, absolutely. And you're known for your leadership qualities and your team building. Sandeep, एक question about, because you are known as a transformation leader, आपने बहुत सारे complex decisions handle करे हैं. आपका खुद का डिसीजन मेकिंग प्रोसेस क्या है, स्पेसिफिकली व्हेन थिंग्स आर अनसर्टेन, वी डोंट हैव एनफ इंफॉर्मेशन, तो आप कैसे डिसीजंस लेते हैं? इफ यू कैन शेयर ऑन दैट.
Sure. So I think this, the best test in recent times of something like this happened during COVID. When you were faced with an uncertainty which was changing every day. So I think what that one thought was that, look, you may take a decision thinking that it is like a decision for a long time or for a long term, but events will overcome you sooner than you think. So your decision making must be quick, because there is no point pondering over something hoping to get perfection. So decision making has to be done so that things move forward. But equally importantly is the agility with which you take decisions. The response time has to be quick, because if you want or if you wait for perfect information, that will not come. And we saw it during COVID. Every day your decisions had to get changed, be it around whether you were trying to conserve cash or look at how do you cut cost, how do you do business. And many people have asked me that, what did you do? What kind of scenario building you did? I said, look, you make a scenario today, tomorrow that becomes history. So there is no point in trying to make a perfect scenario. What is important is the agility with which you react to whatever changes. And that is what has kind of been my motto, which is basically to be summed up. the agility of your response is far more important than the accuracy of your forecast or whatever hypothesis you have. And that's what I apply even today.
Thank you so much, Sandeep, you share करने के लिए. And I think this is a lesson for all the finance folks. So thank you so much for sharing on that. So on this stage, I would really like to call my co-host Tripti for taking us through the next set of section.
So thank you so much. It was so interesting. I think, Sandeep, it was through my heart. I feel that everything was so correlative. Whenever I have to interview people or I am giving a motivational speech to my employees, I always tell them this, what you said. We don't want employees, we want entrepreneurs. We want you to think like entrepreneurs. So I think, thank you so much for sharing such an important fact. Recently, I came to know, Sandeep, that you have done an exit with with one of the investment company. The name is Feshore, right?
Sure.
Feshore, yes. I wasn't aware that you are in investment as an angel investor, or you've been very regular with this.
This all started, I think it got actually picked up before and maybe after COVID. One had a lot of time during COVID. You could evaluate many of these startup ideas. But in fact, this idea of doing angel investing actually came to us to this day about 10 years back. So in August 2014, a bunch of us, 10 friends, we got together and we said, look, I think, we've all kind of done professionally well for ourselves. But what have we done to create and support an ecosystem that creates serial entrepreneurs? And the only thing there are two things that we as a community can give this startup ecosystem. One is, of course, capital, but more importantly is guidance or mentorship. So we've all done 25 years of professional working, and here there are folks who are in their maybe early to late 20s, all want to do some, all of them have an idea which solves a real problem. But how do you make sure that in their journey, when they are solving this problem, they don't stumble at obstacles? Because it is very easy, everybody has an idea to solve a problem, but they don't realize that the journey has many potholes and many forks, many decision points. So in addition to capital, which is very easy, how can you give them guidance? And that's how this group got started. And in addition to, of course, whatever startups one would fund through the group, there were a couple of other groups that I joined, and that was the time that you had regular pitch sessions every Saturday. Would be good. I made a few investments and
So we can tell our audience that you are an investor, and we can always reach out with our startups. That's very interesting, Sandeep.
IPV is obviously the one who have really democratized this whole process of investing in startups. But the one that we co-founded 10 years back is called Winners, Vinners. They also have a large now portfolio of startups where they have put capital behind. And in Winners, we do a great job of not only giving capital but also providing mentorship and guidance to these startups.
With this, I want to also understand your thought process on outskilling. You recently has, given your thoughts in this book. I would like to hear your thoughts so that our audience can also know about it, outskilling.
So I think this was a book that was written by a very dear friend and ex-colleague. He has a great passion he's a great narrator, not a skill that I possess. And in that he collected anecdotes from few of the folks that he had worked with. And my personal view on this is that there is never too late to learn. The world around is changing, and it is changing at a pace that we cannot grapple with. You cannot resist the change. And the only way you can embrace the change is if you yourself decide that what got you here won't get you into the future. If you have that belief, and believe you me, it's not easy, particularly for folks who have been successful in their professions. We all think that we got here because of whatever strengths we possess and whatever hard work the individual has done. In my view, that may be only 5-10% contribution. 90% contribution comes from outside you, from your teams, from the organization that you work for, to the external environment. If that is kind, that portrays your performance in a much better light. But at no time should you think that you are God's gift to mankind. You are only a small tool. And if you don't change yourself, and this kind of sinks in with a belief that I have, that you cannot ask your team to do something which you yourself don't want to do or don't know how to do. So first, I would say that if as an example, if I'm asking my team that please come on the weekend and solve this problem, so you're telling them that please compromise on your personal time, am I prepared to do that? If I am not, then I have no business in asking my team to do that. Similarly, if it is about trying to learn any new skill or any new trait, unless you yourself are ready and willing to do it, it is not fair to ask your team. So a lot of it is about leading by example.
Right. I think specifically with the technology happening, what I've learned is you learn from the juniors also, you learn from seniors as well. Because, with the new generation, the kind of, shortcuts coming in writing and different decision making, I think it's really helpful to be faster. So I think it's just keep training yourself, keep learning and reading. So thank you so much, Sandeep, for focusing on the importance of changing ourselves by learning more and more, and to meet the recent, what's happening in the future. With this, I want to say that I can't imagine my life without Fevicol and Fevikwik. So I think to make such a brand, can you share a few tips to our audience what it takes to make such a brand which is unforgettable, you can't live without?
So I think a lot of the credit for this goes to some of the founders of Pidilite, the key members from the family that own and run Pidilite, and a lot of the folks who have done all the hard work in making the brand what it is. Because see, line and one motto that they have followed is always try and delight your customer. And in this case, our customer will not only be the consumer or a homeowner like you, but also the intermediary who uses the product. So could be carpenter or could be a plumber or whoever. So if you keep their interest at heart and not the company's interest first, then you will always taste success.
So with this, what success mean to you, Sandeep?
Success is not something that I have ever tried to measure. It's not something that I have ever strived for. One has always strived to give your best in what you do, and in that journey try and always be a better version of what you were yesterday. So success to me is about continuous improvement. Never rest on your laurels. Never think that you have achieved anything. Success is a journey. It's like a ladder. You climb one step at a time. And my belief is that every day try and be a better version of what you were yesterday. And success may have some material measures. None of them have ever interested me. Success is what outsiders view you or your journey. But for me, it is, as I said, it's a journey, and that journey has many, many more miles to go.
संदीप, वो आपकी बातों से बहुत क्लियर है. आई थिंक आपके लिए व्हाट इम्पोर्टेंट इज बीइंग हैप्पी, व्हाट आई फील. बट इफ यू थिंक अबाउट कि कोई सक्सेसफुल कौन है आपकी अगर आप सोचें, हु कम्स टू योर माइंड, कौन लगता है सक्सेसफुल है और क्यों?
I don't have any such role models. मेरे लिए तो
Okay.
I want to be a better version of myself.
Of myself. Right.
I don't have a role model. I have no such plans that I want to be like X or Y or Z. I'm very happy with what I am, and as I said, every day I want to be a better version of my.
क्या चीज़ है आप लोगों के लिए सबसे इम्पोर्टेंट है आज के टाइम पे कम्युनिटी को लेते हुए?
I think it is again, we all, I mean, and in our organization, we particularly believe that whatever the organization has reached has many visible contributors, maybe the employees who work in the company, maybe the customers who buy our products, but there are many invisible contributors who you don't know about. And can you as an organization reach out and try and improve their lot, and not in a one-off manner, but something which is in that sense sustainable. So can you do something that permanently improves their lot or livelihood? And that is what the organization, as part of its what we now call CSR initiatives, has been doing. We were doing this even before the law came into place, that you have to spend that 2% of your profits. But that is for us more a reference point. That is not a target. We have never limited our CSR work to any number that we wish to achieve. Whatever we have tried to do is around doing it sustainably, rather than as a one-off initiative and intervention. And the kind of work that we do covers education, healthcare, women empowerment, agriculture, and it kind of, whatever is required for that ecosystem is something that we would do. Obviously, education, healthcare are basic needs
Yes.
in this country, that there is not, whatever you do is not enough.
So Sandeep, what has been your best investment of time or money till now?
Both, I would say, in terms of time and money, would have been in the kind of value systems that I have tried to give to my children, both in terms of their values, beliefs, and the education. Because you're all working professionals, I don't have a business that I can give to them. All that I can give them is good value systems that make them good human beings, and good education that kind of makes them be self-reliant, self-dependent. That I would say is the best investment.
And what about money? What kind of advice would you give to the audience? Where did you make the most of the money? Or where did you invested the money which really gave you a good return?
So money, I think, folks who have a finance background will probably know much better than me. So simply, I don't have time to spend in these investment decisions. So I rely on a set of advisors. But from the very beginning, and something again I have taught my children, is this whole power of compounding that today is now, everybody talks about. So even when I would give pocket money to my daughter, I would say 50% of that you invest and 50% of that you spend. And that investment, however small it may have been, when today she's all of 25, when she looks at whatever she would have been investing for the last 7-8 years, she says, my God, Dad, I never thought that such small amounts can compound into such a corpus for her. So one is invest early, invest for the long term, and invest and always have, set goals. So whatever is your income, a certain percentage, invest and let the markets and this whole power of compounding do its job.
I think you're right. And with this, I have my next question, Sandeep. Imagine that you are asked to go to a jungle right away and there is no other option. what would you carry with yourself? You can carry only 2 things, Sandeep.
What will I carry? I will carry some survival stuff, something like food and water and all that. And if possible, carry a compass so that you can, because a compass will work
The direction.
without power, without anything. Mobile phone may not work there. So I have something basically to survive, something that will keep you alive, and a compass that will get you back to wherever it is. Yeah, wherever it is safety.
Right. So with this, do you have any regret, Sandeep, and how did you deal with that? If you have.
No regret. I am very happy with whatever has happened. Obviously, every journey has ups and downs. Rather than feeling regretful about it, I feel blessed that I could learn. Everybody has failures. As long as you learn from that failure, that makes you a better individual. And in the context of life and the blessed life that I feel that I have had, I have certainly no regrets at all.
So, if you have to tell one thing to your younger self, would you like to say something to that?
I wish I had, when I was younger, spent little bit more time trying to learn new things. While I did invest in learning new skills, but maybe I could have learned a few more skills at that time when one had faster grasping power, and maybe little bit of more risk taking. I'm a bit of a risk averse.
I understand what you mean. It's not everyone's cup of to risk. I understand that. Today, I think people are much risk. They are having much risk appetite as compared to people before, because everyone wants to start a startup. So I can understand things have changed, but I seriously agree. I think specifically if you see in women graph, the major problem is risk appetite. They can't take loans because of that thought process they have. So with this, sorry, you want to say something?
No, I think absolutely right. I think this whole thing today, opportunities are there, but there are other constraints and challenges. I guess I was a little bit younger. I'm sure opportunities were there. It's just that I never explored them.
True. So, how do you start your day, Sandeep? Our audience would like to know how such successful, CFO starts his day. Actually, कैसे रहता है आपका?
So I think for a long day and for a mind to be agile, first your body has to be agile and fit. So my day starts very early. I wake up what my family says at unearthly hours, and I devote time to some physical exercise or the other. And then after that is done, so I spend about an hour and a half taking care of my body, and then the day starts. And because I wake up early, I sleep early. So
Very nice.
as they say, early to bed, early to rise makes a man healthy and wise.
So good to hear. Everyone here, you need to sleep on time. So Sandeep, my last question for you today is very important. Like I said, mentors are very, very important. I would like to know from you कि आपकी ज़िंदगी में किन लोगों ने as a guru, as a mentor play किया जिसकी वजह से आप आज यहाँ तक पहुँच पाए?
वो तो बहुत सारे हैं. I have been blessed, as I have been blessed from the time I started working, and these mentors have influenced in different ways. Some have given you life skills and life advice. So I would like to call out somebody, a very dear friend named Rajiv Suri. When I started working, he was my support system in Bombay. Then when I moved for about 13 years, this gentleman was my boss, Rajiv Jain. Not only did he give me many career breaks, but the way he has mentored me, I am a lot of what I am today is thanks to him. And our current chairman in Pidilite, Mr. Madhukar Parekh, lot of to learn from him, as well as our current managing director Bharat Puri. From both Bharat Puri and from Mr. Madhukar Parekh, one has learned how do you discover your strength, and how do you become an effective and an efficient manager. So these are only a few. There have been many more.
I'm sure.
I'm blessed to have very, very kind people who have come across, and
I love the word kind. I think that's very, very relevant.
Yes.
Kind, being kind. Yes. But you can take more names to thank them. We actually, as a part of our podcast, we make a point that we thanks all the mentors who have been behind you, Sandeep, and we call out for them. So thank you so much. In case you want to share, we are most welcome. In case you want to share more.
There have been other friends, of course, family. Any professional is absolutely incomplete without a family support system. So yes, my wife, we will finish our 35 years of marriage. She's been with me thick and thin. Obviously, she has a huge role in building the Sandeep Batra of today. So many more. I think, the names I took are good enough.
Right. No, thank you so much, Sandeep. And I would thank all the mentors who have shaped you up today and what we see today as Sandeep. Thank you so much. And with this, I would really thank Sandeep for being with us today and for supporting us with this interaction. Sandeep, thank you. Thank you so much. Looking forward to see you all soon. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.